So let's talk about what is a case interview versus what people think it is, because there is a difference. Now, what people think a case interview is this torturous interview technique that you need to pass in order to get a job offer in a management consulting firm. And at some level, that is, I guess, somewhat true. You do have to pass it in order to get a job offer. But it's not just an interview technique. What a case interview really is a simulation of a client engagement. And that's extremely important for you to remember. Here's what a client engagement looks like. There are really three parts. There's the beginning of the engagement, which is usually the initial meeting where you understand what the problem is. There's the bulk of the work, which you spend maybe 5-6 months on. And then there's the end where you present your findings to the client over maybe a couple hours at most. The bulk of the work is in the middle. The middle part of the engagement consists of three things. Number one, deciding what to analyze next in order to further the analysis to determine what the client should be doing to solve their particular problem. The second step is gathering data. That's where you come in. You're the one gathering the data. And then the third is looking at the data to consider what should we analyze next. It's a cycle. Decide what to analyze, look at the data, analyze the data, then decide what to analyze next, go get the data, analyze it, etc., etc. A case interview basically takes an entire client engagement and only includes the critical decision points along the engagement. All the time-consuming parts of gathering data are stripped away, and you are given the data magically by asking for it. You're asked to consider what do you do next. That decision point is very critical to convey during the case interview, and then you repeat the process. Now, one of the key things is your role as an entry-level consultant, either coming out of undergrad or graduate school, is you are doing the bulk of the data gathering. One thing you got to keep in mind is when you gather data from clients, you have to interact with them. You have to communicate with them. And this is a very important skill that's also being assessed in the case interview because it's an essential skill on a client engagement. If you are rude to clients, if you are arrogant to clients, if you say things that are not true to clients and they catch you on that, your firm gets fired. If the firm gets fired, guess what? You're getting fired. During a client engagement, you have to behave a certain way, a certain degree of professionalism, client readiness, executive presence. That's also being assessed during the case interview. So here are 3 tips for how to be client ready or client friendly or to have executive presence with clients during a client engagement as well as during a case interview. Number 1, be confident. When you know what you're talking about, be confident. So if you know 2 + 2 is 4, you say 2 + 2 is 4, right? And what's implied in how you speak is, and I can prove it and show you the evidence or the data or the analysis that demonstrates 2 + 2 is 4. What you don't want to say is, well, 2 + 2 might equal 4, I think, right? You don't want to use hedging language, right? And this is particularly an issue with women consultants. A lot of women in most Western cultures are taught to not be assertive, right? For all kinds of various social reasons, which we won't get into in this video. But when the women get into the consulting world, they really want to be much more assertive, especially when they know what is correct. So if you know 2 + 2 is 4, say that 2 + 2 is 4, but have evidence ready to prove it if you need to. The second thing to do is also to be confident when you're wrong. Now, we don't want to say is make stuff up, right? If a client asks you, what is the square root of 2,962? Don't make up a number. If you don't know, you want to confidently say, that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that, but I can figure that out. Let me go ask my colleagues. Let me go grab a calculator. Let me go grab the data analysis. So when you are not sure, when you don't know, be confident in your lack of knowledge. Be confident that you do not have the answer, but you can get it, or you can put it on the list of things to go and analyze. The third tip is when you make a mistake, you never want to break character from that professional persona that you are portraying. Sometimes a candidate will make a math mistake and go, oh, shoot, I screwed up. You're probably not going to give me the offer, are you? Right? And that's breaking character. You don't want to do that. Because in a client engagement, you would never say that. What you would say in a client engagement would be something along the lines of this. Let me back up. I think I made a mistake. And when I redo my math, this is what I get, right? Or let me rewind that. Let me say that in a different way because I don't think I'm making my point very clearly, right? Perfectly fine. You are not expected to be perfect in consulting. When you catch your own mistakes, however, you are expected to be professional about it and not break professional character. I hope you found this video helpful where I've emphasized the behavioral and communication attributes you want to convey during a case interview. I also have quite a lot of other videos that talk about the technical aspects of the case interview and how to successfully tackle them and ultimately get a job offer. To see those videos, click the subscribe button, the follow button. Give me your comments and questions in the comments below, and I'm happy to help you out any way that I can.